Down the Rabbit Hole podcast, episode 31. This would be the second one of the year, right?
Return of the
I thought you were about to go return of the Max.
well, I'm just trying to think of it's just the return of this energy. This energy.
Chance.
It needs more energy.
This energy.
We're back for
Actually,
the year.
Chance, you're one of them as well. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Zoom in on her, man.
we don't have enough
we'll
cameras.
insert alternate footage, but yeah, first one, and it's already February, guys. That's
It's already
nuts.
February.
It is apparently what's been wild on the LinkedIn as of late is
LinkedIn?
the it's quantifying how much of the year has gone by already in percentages.
Yes. That progress bar on Twitter, yeah, it's real.
Oh, is it in Twitter? Is it in X's Twitter X
Twitter
as well?
X? Yeah, I know it has that one. Like the last time I checked, it was already like 8%.
8%. One of it was 8%. Yeah.
Something like that, and so I was like, gosh, but.
I'm not gonna lie, that's some nerdy shit, man.
Some what?
Some nerdy shit.
Oh well,
Well,
it's like
look,
numbers.
percentages,
Time.
math.
Okay, you know what? We've got a entertainment-filled episode with a lot of sports. Sports is the entertainment, and we're in Australia. And we recently concluded the Australian Open, which by all accounts was probably the best Australian Open in a while, right?
Yeehaw!
All right, take it away. What do we got?
Yeehaw. Look, I know a lot of people say that January is like the worst month of the year, but you know what I realized?
Is it your Roman Empire?
I guess you could say so, but it's also kind of one of my favorite months because it's award season and it's tennis season. So
January, I always call January, it's like, oh, we've started in the new year, but we're not really into the new year as of yet until we pass the tennis.
pretty much.
Because then all of a sudden, okay, well now we're fully into the swing of it now. There's nothing, don't need to stay up late to watch all of these games that bloody go on forever.
It's on our time zones.
Oh,
Yes, we did.
There were a couple of games that went in a bit late in the night, but otherwise, for us especially, living in Australia, it's like, it's the start of the year when tennis season has come in. And technically, we got a little bit earlier because, United Cup and all that. So that's a whole new facet of, this is really tennis season.
By the way, we have a vlog.
Yeah.
We have a vlog, so I'm just going to link it down.
We'll insert it into link. Check it out because that was a fun night. We got to watch the quarterfinals.
highly recommend.
Exactly.
So hopefully it'll happen again next year, hopefully. And I think it will. And then watch some more games and it'll lead up to tennis. But all right, we'll start it off with Australian Open. So I have to say what has especially made this year's Australian Open interesting is that there's a quality of players, quality of tennis that is really standing out, especially because there was a whole pattern that a lot of new qualifiers that came into the draws took out quite a lot of seeded players.
The caliber of young talent must be immense, right? Because, and it's so funny to think of tennis in generations of but it's true, right? If you're coming past the Fadal of it all, and then the tail end of Djokovic, I'm going to say tail end because
Did you say Fadal?
I said Fadal. Yeah.
Federer and Nadal.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
It's a
It
thing.
is.
100% a thing.
Go on the internet, mate.
100% it's a thing. And then you've got, the next gen trio that was supposed to be marketed. You've got your Medvedev,
Your
Tsitsipas, and who was the third?
It was meant to be Zverev.
Zverev? Yeah. I know
then-
it's, how do you put, is Zverev, right? It's
Zverev. Yeah,
Zverev.
something about
but
the
we
V should
say,
be-
in this house, we say Zverev, okay?
So just roll with it.
Just roll with it.
Just roll.
We switched the E and the V,
Yeah. And then after that, you have the baby gen.
The baby gen.
Which is your Sinners, your Alcarazes. We'll get to more about
Rublev.
Sinner a little later.
And then now there's this new emerging talent pool that's coming in. And I did ask a work colleague of mine just what was his take on it, because he's an avid sports fanatic as a whole, right? And he was just saying that it's the pedigree of the talent now have got, you've got all of this to look back at, right? And so you're really honing in your game, and arguably that's what people are saying about Alcaraz, right, where he's got a mix of the big three from way back. It's not even that way back, but it's crazy to think that, what's this key stat? It's Djokovic has not been in a final has not been in an Australian Open final, or has been, since like the last time he wasn't there was like 2005. Like
yeah.
That's
Pretty
nuts.
much, yeah.
That's nearly 2 decades.
Because it's like as well, you have to credit it, like, not to make it about the big three. We'll move past them in a little bit, but just knowing what they've done themselves, like we grew up watching them, like especially for me, like I know they are the tennis generation that I've grown up watching, and like that's why I grew to love tennis. But it's like considering how much they dominated the game, and now like I know a lot of people keep talking about changing of the guard, but it is happening now because you have so many more prominent names coming to light now that you can look out for.
And what's really funny in that, and we'll probably talk more in depth about it as we go through each of the subtopics for AO this year, but that next gen, it's like they kind of missed out on their moment to shine, right? Because it's like a classic, like, oh, you've got your Gen X, your Gen Y, and your Gen Z. Your Gen Y in the middle is just struggling between, like, you know, the trauma of like the previous gen and then the nuisance of the upcoming gen, and you're just like, what the hell? We're trying to find our own space.
Exactly, which we will touch on as well as to why the baby gen have technically more slams between them than what was meant to be the next gen. So we'll get into it. But before that, so doing a little wrap up. So of course we'll start with the women's. So of course Aryna Sabalenka, she got to defend her title. Good for her. And as many of you have probably seen on Breakpoint, which I'm glad that you two have like really caught up, and
we did our homework.
You guys are actually like know the name, like you're really into it now.
Yeah, Kev, how do you feel about tennis now post watching Breakpoint?
And now you know the people that I might say this time.
I actually played tennis. Don't give
Only
me,
recently
don't give
come
me
back
heat.
to the court. What are you talking about?
It was good. It was good. Breakpoint's good. That's
We
all I
even
got.
watched it like this may sound like a weird thing to say, but I think it's quite nice to say that we even watched the women's final. Because it's like we this one new.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was hard.
It
was
was
hard to watch that final.
It was a pretty
I
comprehensive.
mean, the real final was it's terrible to say. The Coco Gauff and Sabalenka. By entertainment, but you know, it was good.
Exactly.
But also woohoo for Zhang.
Yeah,
Chang.
Yeah. This guy.
She broke into the top 10. She's at 7 now.
She's at 7 now.
So
she
she moved up well, and so I'm sure she's young. She's only like 21, I think. So
which is crazy, right?
She can keep going on, and so otherwise, good for Sabalenka because of her whole narrative arc about like she wanted that dream to get 2 Grand Slams before turning 25 or something like that, and so
the conspiracy of like Breakpoint and now messing with like the real life to create the good story for the next season.
The curses. Because technically the curses did kind of carry through on some of the ones. Because like, what happened with Jessica Pegula, Sakari, they got out. Jabeur got out.
That was across the board. We saw
it's especially in the women's side that so many of the seeded players
went out.
At the end of what was it? The stat was like at the end of the first week, like 19 of the 32 top seeds were out. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, we saw Sakari play and she was like crushing it.
She was good in United Cup.
I don't know what happened. So what third round? Like what?
Yeah, like
I felt like a lot of them just before the third round they were gone. Quite a bit.
That's why I was going to highlight, especially the second round, actually, of Elena Rybakina, is apparently how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah.
Versus Anna Blinkova, and their final set tiebreaker that went to 22-20.
That's nuts.
I heard about that one. Did they go for like half an hour or something?
Pretty
it's the tiebreaker
much that
itself.
game, that last tiebreaker. Yeah,
You'd love to see it, but that's nuts.
that's not. I think that was like a record because of just going up to the 20s. And I remember there being a shot of like the umpire laughing while he was saying the score.
Yeah.
It was like 20, 21. So.
Isn't it hilarious how I feel like they've made a more conscious effort, a big deal of. Oh, so your final tiebreaker is supposed to be the first up to 10.
Yes.
And then you factor in the fact that you have to beat by 2 if you don't
increments.
make it.
Yeah.
So it's like they made it a big deal to try and curb the fact that it's like, oh, we're trying to shorten the game, when in actuality it's not really. Like, depending on the,
even with the fact that they actually started the tournament earlier by one day,
it's so funny.
We still had matches that went to like really late and were getting pushed, which we will touch on. But
it's
that's
also,
so
like,
funny.
It's just the planning of it. It doesn't like it's what was the point of an extra day? Like it feels like you really then need to have arguably an extra like 4 days.
Wait, that
to
extra
then
day, they
space
only
out
had
the
one
thing.
match, right? The one at night? Or did they have a couple more?
They would have. It was programmed to be like 2 in the night. Yeah,
It's always
a
two.
women's or in the men's.
It's always 2 in the night, but you need to have like they'll have courts 1 to 14 or something like that, right? That gets used in that gets used in the first week, and then you've got John Cain, Margaret Court, and Rod Laver,
yeah.
And of course you're going to cater to the commercial side of the sport, where you're going to need to put in your big ticket items in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you can't solve for that, but then it's I don't know, like start an hour earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing, especially with the night planning. But then they say that they can't start programming during the news and all that,
which
I get it. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, like I'm not complaining.
Switch to the other channel, and you know that's how you boost your other channel. Here you go, Channel 9. Here's a free strategy for you. Put it on 9 now. Put it on
exactly.
your old
People
Stan
plug in.
Aloni, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
Anyway,
otherwise,
don't do that. Actually, make it free, please.
I wasn't really complaining. Like I was just excited that tennis got to start earlier by a day on the Sunday. So
it's actually quite nice.
let's make it happen again next year. So then be like, yay, tennis is back for one more day.
That's good.
But otherwise, so that was a whole interesting thing. Like for me, my disappointment was that Iga Swiatek, she got out like in the third round.
Yeah.
But her draw was like really tough.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
So I will use this as a case study, right?
Yes.
Like I know they make a big hoo-ha deal about it. It's the the week before they pull it out, etc., etc. There's some weird voodoo shit happening.
Yeah.
There's got to be,
how
right?
it aligns.
And how challenging some other people's draw is
In comparison to ours.
i.e. Medi and Iga versus other people, arguably.
Sabalenka's was pretty easy.
Yeah. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, right?
I mean, she still played
not to take
good.
it away from her.
Yes,
she played
exactly.
great and stuff, but then it's also
Her draw was relatively easier than like Iga's. So, well, because that's the whole thing, that there's a whole point to people like the top 10 seeds. The way that they are put into the draw is that it's meant to benefit them, because they're not meant to face each other until like the semis,
right? Or the quarters, right?
Or the quarters
yeah,
even.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's just like, it was nuts, like what was happening with Swiatek, because she almost got out a round earlier against Collins, but then she came back from like the break.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
She's too tired of having to say Poland in bloody United Cup.
It was in my mind.
Mate, like,
please don't remind me that they lost, because that was a tough loss.
that was intense.
You can't say that, because Everett played even more than.
Well, yeah, but then he still lost, right?
Yeah, but he went all the way to the end. He went all the way to the end.
Calma.
Can't say that. Can't say that.
Calma.
All right, we'll get into that soon. But it was very, like, a lot of people say stuff about the draws, but like, look, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Because Swiatek's better surface is clay, so, but she does pretty good on hard courts, so we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're gonna dip quickly into some of the doubles. You weren't expecting that, probably. So with the doubles, one of the most notable ones is that, for example, the winners of the men's doubles was Rohan Bopana and Matthew Ebden. So that technically continues the tradition of an Australian still holding the doubles trophy. After last year, Hijikata Kubler, and then the year before that, Special K Boys.
True. Nice.
And then, shout out to Rohan Bopana, who broke a record.
Alliance
the
Burrs.
oldest.
What is it? Alliance Burrs in the Commonwealth? You know?
It looks like everyone's favorite Indian uncle.
Oldest number one player and Grand Slam winner at 43 years old. You love to see it. You love to see it. And to think that he was considering retiring like 2 years ago. And then he went on to do this at least.
Achieve your dreams, albeit in a
How do they
abridged-
rank doubles players? So a single person gets the number one ranking or pairing?
No, the pairing.
It's pairing.
Oh, it's a
like
pairing.
the same games
Yeah,
that
okay.
you play as a
You've
pairing
played on
throughout
pairing.
the.
So if you have a pairing for the year, you have to stick with the exact same pairing for the whole
unless
year.
they get injured.
Unless you switch out.
Yeah, I don't know how the
Sweet.
ranking goes based on
Because
that, right?
the two of them, so now they're number one together. They were number two before that. And so
Are the Bryan brothers still playing? Or are they gone?
No, they're gone.
they retired
They're a long time ago.
They presented the trophy last year
Oh, okay.
to Hijikata and Cooper. Yeah,
Sorry, just a
it's
throwback to
collective-
the old times.
it's collective points with if they wins like titles together, that I think that gets added on, because it's the same thing for like if they do singles, because singles points are different of course to doubles points.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise good on them. Like they got their first title together, first Grand Slam title. They call it Home Slam for them. Because of locations of homes and whatnot. And yeah, they are the oldest doubles team to win with the combined age of 79. So you love to see it.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. So good on them. And then a quick shout out actually to, hopefully I'm saying this right, but Shu Su Wei. She won the mixed and women's doubles.
What a machine.
What a champ. What a champ.
Just
So-
dominating in all domains.
So the 38-year-old from Chinese Taipei, so she retired from singles, but she went to continue on with doubles. And she ended up winning the mixed doubles with Jan Zelensky and winning the women's doubles with Elise Mertens. So it was literally like back to back.
Is that the old partner of
Sabalenka?
I didn't realize. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when we were watching the finals, like, oh yeah, she's also a slam champ, like
Doubles
a
player.
like,
Yeah.
Then I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. So Mertens continued on with doubles. And so then I was like, that was cool. But yeah, Shu Su Wei. Like legit. She was like, I'm stepping away from singles, but here I am getting all these doubles titles.
And it's arguably an actual tougher game in the sense that it's a different game, right? Because it's more on like it's the reflex, it's the strategy, there's your set plays. Like you can't
communication with your
Yeah.
partner, being able to maintain the same level essentially.
yeah.
So that's the
And
thing.
also the very often like Kev, what would you say about like doubles? Like when you're seeing single players like playing doubles,
What do you mean?
you say it's the like it's very clear that they don't know how to play doubles.
Oh, it's its own
Oh,
game. Yeah, it's a completely different game.
yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have a 43-year-old be number one in the ones.
Playing singles.
It's a completely
yeah.
different game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's all no, but it's
like
also like even in like United Cup, right? We saw that these players don't really play together.
It's like
Yeah.
pickleball.
Oh, God.
When are we gonna play pickleball?
We're not playing
guys?
pickleball.
I want to play pickleball.
Oh my
I
gosh.
try it.
By the way,
The
you
movement.
disrupted my chain of thought. I was actually
It felt like you did not have a continuing train of thought.
no. So you know how one of our points is this year the standard of tennis was really competitive on both sides,
Yeah.
the women's and the men's, right?
Yes.
I'm surprised it's so hard to get like this information. I'm manually counting it as we speak, but my gut feel is like this year for the men specifically, there was an obscene amount of 5-setters. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I've
Yeah.
just counted on the first round. I don't know. There were 25
35. There was 35 across the
5-setters.
no yeah. Oh, wasn't it? Yeah, 30,
Something
yeah.
like- something like-
35,
It's nuts.
Yeah, 5-setters across. I think both.
There was both.
brackets, I think, or something.
I don't think
Yeah.
so because
Men's
I've just
bracket.
Was it
counted
just
20.
men specific?
Men's brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the men's one was actually nuts. In the first round, I'm counting 20. So unless I'm counting wrong, that's why I'm really looking at it. And this is what caused like some of these delays that we've probably never really noticed, right?
It's oh gosh. Well, okay. Well, now that we're gonna go to the men's.
Yeah.
Actually,
Let's talk about them delays.
let's go. Yeah, let's talk
and
about
the
delays.
causes and the reasons why there were the delays.
Delays with the men's and all that. So, I mean, they were meant to do that extra day of play to account for example, rain delays, which there was, I think, one day where there were rain delays.
But then they closed the roof.
Yeah, they closed the roof.
They closed the roof.
And
coincidentally in Djokovic's game.
And it didn't impact much of the scheduling. But that's where you come in with a lot of the 5-setters who one of our highlights actually, and of course is the finalist for this year.
Winner in my heart.
Daniil Medvedev. Like, he did...
That's painful.
Of those 5-setters that you listed, like, he did 4 in his entire run.
Was it total of 24 hours on the court?
24 hours, 17 minutes on the court. So, for example, let's talk about his run. Let's talk about his run in general.
Yeah.
So, he did... So, four matches that were 5-setters. In the second round, Rusevuro, the Finnish guy... So that one...
Sorry.
That one...
I took that as like, what did he finish? And it's like... Sorry. I did rationalize it before I said it. But
I
it's
saw
just
the
funny.
cogs moving, and then you're like,
why is he known as the Finnish guy?
What did he complete? No, so that was one of the delayed matches where they played, like, they only started before midnight, and they finished...
At 3, 4?
Almost 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It was like 3, almost like 3:30 and all that.
If I wasn't employed, it's back in those days when
Watching
like uni days, I'd just be watching it all up and
Lies.
yeah.
You'd fall asleep like you did.
No, earlier in my early years. Now it's like I struggled.
No, especially during Wimbledon days.
Oh,
when you would stay up with Dad.
Drink water, mate. Drink water. Just stay awake.
Stand up.
Yeah, and then go to the study, which you had to walk to the study to then chat with people on MSN and like say, oh,
wow,
what a point! Yeah,
crazy.
Those were the days.
Internet back in those days, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, he came. That was one of his ones where he came back from 2 sets down, which is just like, Mehdi, what is happening?
Why did you need? That wasn't necessary.
You
Why did you need to do that?
Who knows?
Why did you need to do that?
Another 5-setter, which was the 4th round quarters. Quarters. Against Hercox.
Mm-hmm.
Also from shout out for United Cup in Poland. But it still pains me about having championship point, and then it was lost. But anyway.
Also, doesn't it feel like he passed the curse on to Mehdi?
I hope not.
Conspiracy.
I hope not.
Breakpoint season 3. Watch only on
Hoopie's
Netflix.
Just a nice. He's just.
He's so sweet.
He's just a gentle giant.
He's so sweet, but like also, let's be real.
He just needs to work on pressure points and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then of course, probably one of my favorite matches, Medvedev versus Zverev. that match was
nuts.
That was a good match.
Amazing.
50-point rally. That's a great
It
match.
was amazing.
That was nuts.
I was horrified at first because I was like,
Zverev should have won.
What? It was like,
Should've won.
Mehdi, what are you doing? Your serving's atrocious. He had like 5 double faults in the first set. What are you doing? And then I remember Dad went out and then he came back and he was like, oh, is Mehdi beaten already? I was like, no, he just won the tiebreaker. Dad came home in time for the real match, which was their last 3 sets. And just like,
all that was just filler. It was nothing.
Oh my gosh. And like, he won 2 tiebreakers and like
that fluke shot
where he went to like, was it the volley and then it ended into a drop shot?
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. And then he finished the tiebreaker with an ace. Like,
crazy.
You can't write this.
Crazy.
You can't write
Crazy.
this.
I love this comment as well as saying like, came to the 3rd set, I'm just going to give it my all. And if it doesn't work out,
I'll just go home. I just go home. And then it's like, you got to stay in. And we love to see it. And then, of course...
Calma.
At first, everyone thought it was karma.
Because I'm trying to say, if I look at the camera and say calma, it's like,
it does look like karma.
It looks karma.
It probably was that, but like a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing if he did say karma. Yeah. If you know, you know. Breakpoint. Episode 4, was it? Yes. One of the, basically the Zverev episode. You know what it is. And then, of course, the last 5-setter was Sinner, which was, he was 2 sets up. And then
He fucked it.
yeah, it was a repeat.
But also Sinner, like he dug in deep. There you could literally see where it started to change. And I've been through this many a time, right? With like Federer, and I'm just like, oh no.
You think it's over,
This
but
is
then
like- and then they come back and they're like, oh, who knows? And then,
exactly. Or because at first you're like, oh, at least I got one set,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, we're going to a fifth set,
Yeah.
and then it just happens.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, let's talk about Sinner as well.
Carrot Boy.
Carrot Boy, our favorite little.
You know, there's a thread on Twitter X.
Yeah.
Somebody has characterized like all of the tennis players based on like certain plushies.
Yes, you probably saw it from my circle.
Probably. My whole timeline feed is now just full of tennis.
Because it's probably stuff that I liked,
Same.
and then it gets into your algorithm.
It's all just full of tennis stuff.
Tennis rackets, though, but yeah.
Tennis.
Oh, here we
All
go.
the tennis memes. But,
Trying to validate himself.
because especially for Sinner, you know, I feel like Sinner getting a Grand Slam has been a long time coming. Even though he's been under a lot of scrutiny from the internet, he used to just years ago, like a couple years ago, he'll just be known as like he's so fragile because of how lanky he is, and he'd always get injuries. But then he finally changed his team. And then freaking Darren Cahill came on.
Yeah.
And he's been non-stop. Well,
Stop.
Tennis Twitter knows what I'm talking about when we dictate the period as post-puke Sinner. Like, he's just been non-stop since
Wait,
then.
so he puked at him in a match?
Okay, so I'll explain to people who don't know the
Do
context.
you know this, Bobs?
Post-puke
No.
Sinner? Okay, so post-puke Sinner refers to, there was the Beijing the tournament there.
Yeah.
Where what happened was that I think it was quarters. He was playing against Dimitrov.
Yeah.
And then he had to puke because, like, I don't know if he ate something or, like, the heat was too much.
Yeah.
So he puked. And then I
On
believe...
the court or?
In a bin on the court, yes. Like, they provide that to players.
Yeah.
If they say they're going to puke, they provide the bin for them. And then after that, I believe, like, he won that match. And then he won against Alcaraz.
Expelling the demons. Be gone.
And then he won against Medvedev for the first time in his career.
Oh.
At that tournament. So now everyone is like post-puke Sinner. He's just been non-stop because after that he won the Vienna title, which he beat Medvedev for against as well.
Yeah.
And then of course the Nito ATP finals when he beat Djokovic for the first time during the round robin.
Is that the final 8
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then he also beat Medvedev again during the ATP finals to go into the finals. But then Djokovic beat him. But that's all right because that was the only loss because after that, well, Australian Open,
baby.
yeah, Australian Open happened. He never dropped a set. His serve percentage was pretty good actually because he's improved his serve a lot. And so... No, it's legit though because in that final, you saw Medvedev like he went hard very quickly on the first 2 sets.
He's like, I've got a plan.
He's like, I just need to go. But then
He couldn't
obviously
sustain it, right?
he was bound to run out of gas and all those hours on the court caught up to him because there was a difference of like almost 6 hours between them.
Yeah, which is literally 2 games.
Yes.
Normal games.
Yes.
Even like slightly tougher, like being pulled to a stretch, right? Like,
yeah. So
nuts.
it was bound to catch up to Medi, and then that was when Sinner just dug in deep, and he managed to get back up from 2 sets to love
First Italian player in the modern era
to get the Grand Slam. Yeah, and of course we have to thank him for taking out Djokovic.
Bless you, Chance.
During the semis.
Yep.
Like, that was such a great feeling.
We didn't get to see the match. How was it?
It was pretty great. He was on fire because he breadsticked him in the first set. And then it was like 6-1, 6-2. Went to a tiebreaker. Djokovic won that. But I think that was because I think Sinner had like an error or 2. And then you've seen the meme of the first time you ever saw him so angry, he just flicked his bottle. Like, because he's just like, he's so wholesome. Because even if you see him angry,
so funny.
he's like, you should search it up. Because like there's been incidents where like, of course, you're human. Like, you act out your frustration. Like, he will kick over something and then he fixes it.
Yeah.
And then this one, he flicked his bottle, and then when it rolled away, he stood up to pick it up.
Was it a water drop bottle?
Yes, the AO, $70.
How much is it?
They're $70.
$70. It's crazy.
Our dad was flabbergasted at when he
Crazy.
searched up how much those bottles were. We're not sponsoring them, but
How like it's so funny. The other thing about the Djokovic loss, it's like, okay, yeah, we did know that he was sick all the way throughout the tournament, right?
Yes.
But then it's the fact that he had to get the press back home to say, oh yeah, he got really sick at during the semifinal and it was really tough and whatnot.
Well,
like it's because if you said that just on its own, I'd have believed you, right? Because it's like he has a good track record of saying this all the freaking time of when he would throw away matches and stuff because he's not feeling well or whatever. It's like, bro, commit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say, so Sinner he's 22, right?
Yes.
So he's 22.
Yeah.
He's won his first Grand Slam. He has a game that extrapolates very well at the high level, like shades of Merit, Safin, easy power on the serve, and there's no doubt that in the final, having not played as many hours definitely helped him. So
100%.
Like to win a Grand Slam, you have to have like a concatenate of things like all roll out very well for you. And I think Medvedev going through a gauntlet and the couple of 5 sets that he did definitely did help. But I think he's the next gen. It's him, to me, Alcaraz, and
It's
who's
meant
the other
to
guy?
be Rune.
Yes, sorry, that's exactly
The
it.
baby
Rune.
Gen. Yeah.
There was this.
Those are the
there's
guys.
this tweet saying like, "Oh yeah, you'll get this person on your team," and then it's like, "Oh yeah," and then you'll say bye to him 2 months later.
Yeah. Rune's going through his own thing at the moment. He's really trying to. He's had a bit of some flops during last year, during the last season. Because he's been grouped together with Alcaraz and Sinner because Rune and Alcaraz, or you saw
Yeah,
in
they were
Breakpoint,
together. Yeah,
that they
grew
grew up
together.
They basically playing together. And then of course, that's the whole thing too with Alcaraz and Sinner. Like they're really becoming. Well, it's also part of Alcaraz's. Like he's been mentioning it as well that they're becoming the Federer and Nadal 2.0. They're the next gen version of that. Which like the parallels do show already, and I guess
his shirts, shirt choice.
even if like look, you can call it a tactic, a PR thing, but I really believe that like that's going to be the next big rivalry.
You know what's making a comeback as well in men's tennis?
What?
The return of the giraffes. All these guys are really tall. Like,
I thought he was gonna say return of the drop.
well, that as well. But they're really tall. Like it's like Zverev made it all the way through. Medvedev is not short. Sinner's like it actually makes a big difference. Like generally to be able to hit the ball from that sort of
Be
height.
able to run at the height that you are, right?
Or
and
have
coverage.
the stretch that they do,
Yeah.
especially Medi. That's why he's called the octopus because he's
I will say like Djokovic didn't have like I don't remember last time that was this the quarters like when did he get knocked out? Semis?
yeah.
6-0, that's like unprecedented. Like he must have had a shocker as well, right? Like it was a bit of
got
both.
COVID.
He's
A bit of both.
this wasn't his best performance in like
In a long
I
while.
guess a Grand Slam.
That being
in
said,
general.
I think Djokovic didn't have the best. I mean, he lost to what's the Australian man, the United Cup.
De Minaur.
He lost to Dimino coming in, like big whoop, doesn't matter. But like it didn't seem like he was hitting his best stride. If that made sense. Like he had a fight in the first match against Primzik. Remember that guy? Like there were
the
new kid, and like again, I think all this goes just shows like in the men's. To be honest, the fact that we saw Dominic Thiem and who did Dominic?
He's injured, eh?
No, he's come back. He's come back, but he's 100. He hasn't been the same.
Break back into the top 10.
The fact that we saw Dominic Thiem and what's the Canadian guy, the French?
Raonic.
Milos Raonic.
Raonic.
No, the other one.
Oh,
Shabazz.
Felix.
Ogier Aliassime.
Yeah, so the fact that we had those two as like it was a first round match, right? Just because
Yeah.
team wasn't ranked, the quality
Did
is.
he play this
Yeah,
year?
he did. He did. It was a
They
first
did a
round match.
5-setter.
Yeah.
They did a 5-setter. as
Again,
well.
Raonic versus who did Raonic versus?
Demonor.
Demonor.
Yeah.
That was a first round match. And he was retired, but he was giving it to Demonor.
Oh, that was sad.
Yeah, he won the first set.
That was so sad.
But what I mean is the quality is actually immense there. So I think to have a game where you can easily win on the serve and stuff like that, which is what
Being serve bots, yeah.
Yannick has. I mean, how did Zverev go all the way there? He had a 95% first serve at one point.
Yeah.
It's insane. To win, you can win points. Everyone can win points on the forehand or backhand on the rally stroke, but the serve is the easiest,
The
cheapest point to get,
Yeah,
right? And it's the one you can do the most consistently, arguably under pressure. But the other thing that I saw, which
Return of the many double faults.
yes, return of the double faults. How many times did we see Medvedev? The Coco Golf one stood out to me as well.
Yeah.
Really high ranking players. I don't think I've
was
seen
nuts.
as many double faults by high ranking players in my life. Maybe in a tournament.
I thought I read that leading into the quarters, Medi had 27 double faults. I was like, Christ.
Oh, can we also talk about?
Well, Demonor as well. He actually has a tell.
Oh,
he double faults on
faults
match
at the
points.
critical
It's a
points.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he clearly tenses up, even though you could not read it. Guy has a cardboard face in a good way. I think it's a poker face. You can't tell. He keeps it to him. But
Must be the Italian in
these
him.
double faults
Oh,
are
Spanish?
insane.
Spanish. He's
sorry.
Spanish, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look at it.
But, well, yeah, shout out as well to Demonor. He still had there's the thing of how he always peaks in tournaments
thing
that
before.
are set home. But it's look, at least he basically got to second week, was it right?
Second week, yeah.
Second week, yeah. It's just Rublev is a tough.
Hey, that demon,
was
that
a-
was one of the
good
best games of the
hectic game.
tournament.
That was a good match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what, I haven't watched any of Rublev prior to this. I like him.
Yes.
No, but
Where have you guys been?
I like his style of tennis. I think he's got the most entertaining
You know what
forehand.
you could
I love
do?
it.
You could literally do a before and after of us talking about when you were talking about the top
And
eight.
then you're like, you
and, like-
forgot. And exactly. I'm like, guys, it's because, his best mates with Medvedev. You're missing out, man. The Russians.
What do we like about Kev? What do we like about Rublev?
I just like his hair. I like his forehand.
He's a
He's got
rock
the best
star.
forehand for me.
The rockets.
Yeah, it's-
how hard he hits it.
Yeah.
But he also has a bit to work on. He's number 5. He's still doing great, but he has to work on the mental side of the game and also.
He's funny to watch, man.
Yes, when he's having his episodes,
He's externalizing a lot.
yeah.
You know.
Well, that's why people say that it's his on court persona is very different. He's so much more chill off court.
Yeah.
But it's just he's so intense when it gets.
You don't
want to
know what's happening. In
You know,
my mind.
it's a horror movie. Legit.
Okay, who do you think was the most disappointment, the biggest disappointment from the men's side of the Australian Open? Because I've got an answer straight away. Biggest.
I feel like there should be one
it should stand out pretty.
that should stand out.
Yeah.
But I think I was just so engrossed.
He's
in,
American.
Medi and
Oh,
Fritz?
No.
No, Fritz did okay.
It's
Tiafoe.
Tiafoe.
Yeah.
Where did that
Yes.
just all of it
It's the curse.
It's the curse.
baby.
it's
Like
not the
yeah.
curse. It's not a thing.
Yeah, he got out
got out very early.
first or second round, was it? Yeah.
Very
Second,
early.
I think.
Yeah.
Second,
Yeah.
yeah. That's true.
I
Hard
was
court
gonna
to
say
surface, right?
Tsitsipas, but I was gonna withhold it. But also, is that
Nah,
really?
Tsitsipas is.
Is that really a disappointment?
Oh, yeah, he's now number 10. And unfortunately...
Should have just swapped out with.
Unfortunately knocked
Demon,
out.
no?
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately knocked out Demon. He was only there for 2 weeks or so.
He hit his goal. Still, you can't
Yeah.
take it away from him.
Exactly. He still got up there.
Just
And
looking at
so-
the time on this.
Yeah. Well, this is a tennis heavy
This
episode.
is a
but,
tennis heavy episode.
Well, yeah, besides that, some of the rankings that have changed. So Hercox is now number 8. Fritz got moved up to number 9 after he was number 12, so at least he's back in the top 10.
Yeah, well deserved.
Tsitsipas got moved down to 10.
10.
Because I was expecting
Well
him.
deserved.
I
Well
was
deserved drop.
expecting him to be in the quarters, but I was surprised Fritz got to beat him. But
Yeah.
he had
That was a good game too.
That was a good game too.
Oh yeah, we watched and then we watched Tsitsipas as well during the quarters as well in United Cup.
Check the vlog.
Check the vlog again. Shout out to the vlog again. And then otherwise, yeah, an interesting stat. You know what's the difference of points between number 4 and number 5?
A lot.
ATP points?
Very little.
No,
$3,000.
Is it?
3,000 points.
I'm looking at it now.
3,000
Googled
points in between. So
Let the
that
record
meant-
show that he was Googling it.
well, that's but
Wait, hold on. Who's 4 and 5? What you call it?
Four
Sinner,
is
Rublev
Sinner.
Sinner's still
Sinner?
full.
Sinner and Rublev.
Yeah, right.
Rublev almost could have gotten knocked down to 6 if Zverev won.
Yeah.
But Medi defended him and was like, not today. And so Zverev's still number 6. And then Medi is still 3. Alcaraz is 2.
What's
and
the
then Djokovic
what's the
won.
difference between Alcaraz and Djokovic?
600.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Probably like one final or something.
So we
Yeah,
can see,
because
yeah.
of the fact that Djokovic got knocked out.
Yeah.
But also because Alcaraz got knocked out.
Actually, if you think
Well,
about it, Alcaraz was a big
was
disappointment
semis,
too.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was like, he's yeah. Unfortunately, it's because Zverev, like his game is just has always managed to weaken Alcaraz's because they're
Yeah.
head to head.
Yeah.
Zverev leads it, and so that's why I got really worried when they were gonna match up, and then I was really banking on Medi to take him out because I was just like, do it, and he did. But yeah, Alcaraz, like we thought, everyone was hoping if it was Sinner and Alcaraz, oh, that would be like
It would be
chef's kiss. I'm sure it will happen in one of the Grand Slams these days.
yeah.
But like,
Because they're on opposite brackets, right?
oh,
Like,
but they're 2 and 4, so they would probably meet in like
meet at the semi.
semis. Yeah, semis. Yeah, they'll probably meet in the semis. Maybe U.S. Open. We'll see. I'm predicting. Let's hope U.S. Open. They'll have another face. They'll have another matchup.
And let's hope Medi wins in French Open after winning Rome last year.
Even though he hates clay.
Even though he hates clay.
But-
Am I right?
But I just feel bad. I felt really bad for Medi. That's like
Oh.
he's had 6 Grand Slam finals.
He's the bridesmaid, never
and
the
he's
bride.
only won 1. But he's literally carrying the next gen. He's the only one out of them who's technically Thiem as well. But unfortunately, Thiem has been knocked down to like the 100s. So otherwise, yeah, that's been tennis talk, guys. That's taken up a bulk of the episode.
Game.
Set match. We're done. We're done. No more tennis. But we're going to pivot on to another sport, Formula One. Just breaking news today.
I don't know why I did that.
See, even
It's this.
Chauncey doesn't
Look at
like
Chance
it.
as well. She's like spooked. She's like, what the hell?
Breaking news, Lewis Hamilton is going to drive a Ferrari in 2025.
This is unnatural.
This is nuts.
Like,
Wait, hold on. So he's still got a year contract with Mercedes.
Yeah.
For,
I
Oh,
thought I read somewhere that like
has he gotten out?
I thought I read somewhere that he's been able to try to exercise something of leaving a little
no,
early.
he can't. He can't.
But I
So
think
Like
that's
gardening leave.
I've got a big conspiracy theory here.
Ooh, here we go.
So the conspiracy theory is the CEO of Netflix said, "Look, we don't have any new narratives for this year.
We need
So
Drive to
what's-
Survive
we need
next
drama.
season.
And
Season, what is it, 6 now or something?
I don't know,
like that?
whatever
Yeah.
it is, and give me the biggest drama narrative because this is as big as it gets. Like I can't remember what season of Drive to Survive where they had this like what's the Aussie? Jesus, come on, man.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricardo did the same thing, right? To I forgot. Anyway,
Red Bull to Red Bull? No?
yeah, Red Bull to Peugeot. Is it Peugeot? I can't remember. Whatever. I
It's
can't
an
remember.
orange one, no?
No, it's the yellow one back in the day. Anyway, doesn't matter. Lewis Hamilton to
We tried,
Mercedes.
guys. We tried.
Lewis Hamilton to Mercedes is like, I mean, LeBron James has moved to a couple of teams now. Is like amongst your biggest stars, although he's at the twilight of his career. I mean, he'll go from being the most winningest driver in Mercedes to try and get something in Ferrari. That's like nuts. Like, I don't think a lot of people can visualize him in a red.
Yeah, it's
like the car, right?
His dreads and the vibes is not going to go well.
He likes pasta. What? Do you think the Italians are not going to like him?
Oh, no. I'm just saying the color scheme, right? But then also like because I know nothing about cars, right? And I assume we probably aren't well versed either, right? But it's like
speak for yourself, but yeah.
The spec. Here we go. Like the specs between the two different cars, like it's
okay. I can intervene here.
What have you got?
I can intervene here, but before we go into that, so you're right. So Lewis Hamilton actually last year he renegotiated his his contract with Mercedes. So it meant that this contract was going to see him until the end of 2025.
Yeah.
But it had a clause in it which actually allowed him to break the contract. So the reason I'm saying this is what it means is good old Toto Wolff and company. This was a blindside. All right.
Toto.
This was a blindside for them because they were under the impression that he was at least secured up until 2025, but he exercised it. So a couple of things is Lewis Hamilton in 2 years hasn't won a race. So he's in the decline of his year. So ever since 2 years ago when they had that dramatic last race with Max Verstappen and Red Bull, and there was a lot of drama there, it's been the Red Bull and Max show, right? So Williams, I forgot the name of the guy that moved from Williams to Mercedes as well. So there's been a transitioning of the guard, and there's been obviously a lot of issues with the Mercedes car. So a move for Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes to Ferrari signals one of two things. One is it signals that in the twilight of his career, he doesn't have trust in the Mercedes car, the Mercedes engineering team, that they will allow him to win it. So he thinks that Ferrari will be able to do that. And number two, it's a weird thing, but when you think Formula One, what brand do you think? You think Ferrari, right? It's Ferrari. It's red. And so the Ferrari brand has always been associated as prestigious. You think Ferrari, you think Michael Schumacher. And this is kind of like, I don't know how an analogy to use, but you know when you tick off certain companies in your resume because you know it's going to look good, you want to say that
you've made it when you
were a Ferrari driver, right? But the interesting narrative,
arguably the commercials from like even just the sponsorship or it's
gonna go nuts.
The merchandise
It's
point
gonna
of
go
view
nuts.
would be like
The interesting thing is when people were you remember Bottas? Bottas. When Bottas was Lewis Hamilton's teammate. So the drama in Formula One is they have two drivers, right? And there's always a preferred driver, right? So Lewis Hamilton was always the preferred driver back in the day. Well, not back in the day, still now, right?
Yeah.
So what that meant,
designated driver.
So what that means is any of the tactics were preferential towards pushing Lewis Hamilton. So he's going to go into a team which the preferential driver is Charles Leclerc. So this guy's a young gun, effectively, right?
Is this in Ferrari?
Yeah, in Ferrari.
Yeah, right.
So he's basically going in at the back end of his career with the credentials that he has.
Yeah.
And he is no doubt a good driver, right? So let's just say that the Ferrari car is exponentially better than Mercedes, which it's not necessarily the case, but let's just say it's better than that. I think the interesting drama we're really going to see is if Lewis still has it in him, what's the internal competition going to be between those two guys? Because Charles Leclerc is a young stud, and he's also very competitive. So if you're a guy like him that's, for example, used to getting that preferential treatment, because he was not preferential treatment, but he was the guy, and Lewis Hamilton comes in, and all of a sudden they start being equal. What's going to happen? All I'm going to say is I think the Drive to Survive guys just literally just planted this in.
This is a whole season.
This is a whole season in itself. The other drama,
you're just covering all the races constantly, right? You pepper in a little bit of other coverage of everyone else, and it's like
the other drama is who's going to. So Carlos Sainz is a very popular driver in himself, good-looking bloke. All the ladies love him. Is the other driver, right? So clearly he's going to be kicked out. They can't have more than that, and he's not going to be a P3 driver, right? So where does he go?
Mercedes, right?
Well, logically it makes sense there. Yeah. There's been rumors
but I mean,
for Williams.
So there could be a whole swap, really.
That's happened in Formula One. That's happened before. But the main thing is, and again, we've seen this again with what's the Aussie guy's name? Ricardo. How do you go into a job for a whole year knowing that you're not going to be there? And will Toto Wolff just say, "Fuck this guy, man! We did so many things together. You're going to leave me?" it's going to create a weird dynamic.
So look forward to the face to cams, man. That would be so cool.
So you know what? Like what is it? It's Feb, right? I think Drive to Survive is on 23rd of Feb or something. I don't care about this year. I'm waiting for next year.
Yeah.
They're already starting production as we speak.
They're already thinking of all the storyboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to cover all of this. But yeah, all my input that I can put in is that, well, shout out to my friends because they're big fans of Drive to Survive. So I often hear them chatting about this stuff. And
Are they experiencing the loss at the moment?
Oh yeah, I've seen they've been pretty active on socials about it, and well, it's coincidental because when this news broke out, I just watched Ferrari, so that's my connection.
Did you bring that? I want to watch it.
That's
point A to
that's
point
Kat's
B.
connection. Yep.
My
there we
point A
go.
to point B. And
That's her input. That is it.
I watched the movie and so I was like, damn.
I tell you what, Lewis Hamilton's going to fit in so well there because he's going to go to Italy. He's going to get brand sponsorships off the Richter.
The wazoo.
The fashion connection will work so well.
He's extracting as much value as he can for the life of.
And for the
that he
Italians,
has,
the diversity quota will go up. It's great. It's a win-win.
100%.
It's a win-win. But
100%.
tell me this. Okay, so do you think that the quote-unquote Lewis Hamilton fans now go to Ferrari? Or when you follow Formula One, do you follow the car? Because in basketball, for example,
Here we go.
a lot of people follow players, right?
Yeah.
That's a very common thing.
Biggest gripe that he has.
That's not a great. Yeah, well, it's another point. But do you think that Mercedes fans are going to follow Hamilton over the ditch?
Well, no, if they like the branding of Mercedes and the
It's a Formula One car. They're all shaped the same, effectively. It's just got a coat of paint and engine.
No, but it's your sense of identity. It could, in the same way that your analogy of whether you follow the player or the team, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't. You can barely see the guys racing anyway. You go, wing,
Wing.
Just follow, the teams. No.
I don't know. There'll definitely be like a group of Mercedes defectors, but we'll see.
Depending if they're Hamilton loyalists and all that. So it'll be
I
interesting.
know a
to see.
couple. I've
see.
known a couple of people that I've worked with, that are we call them that are like hammer hardheads.
Hammerheads.
Hammerheads.
Yeah.
That's the new term,
It's a
guys.
new term.
That's
So
the new
they'll
standard.
be having to update all of their merch.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's an expensive endeavor. Those things aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Puma's 40% off is gone too, as well. Referral code at the bottom.
True.
Okay, if only.
Okay. So enough about sports. We're going to end it off on a much more serious note. So there was
hard pivot.
a really hard pivot. We won't
This is
spend
the entertainment of politics.
we won't spend too much time here, but
and also life.
so recently there was
Latino.
a Senate judiciary hearing on social media. This was in the US.
Because it's about the kids,
Yeah, yes.
And all the major heads of state, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world,
In tech. What?
and tech were there. And interestingly enough,
Snapchat dude was there.
Snapchat
I was
dude is
like,
there.
why are you there?
okay, so a couple of things. Apart from Mark Zuckerberg, who came apparently like of his own will, the rest of the guys actually had to be court-martialed to come.
Yeah.
So they did not want to come.
Yeah, right.
So to set the
He's like, I'm in my home court. I've been here many a time.
many-
I'm
Okay.
used to it.
let's set the scene, right?
You want to have an MMA fight?
These Senate judiciary hearings are brutal, right? So I've actually
Was Elon invited?
no, he's he has a
because he's got-
CEO.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah,
the
you're right.
I forgot the name. So anyway, let me set the scene for these Senate judiciary hearings. They are how do I articulate it? It's one-way hearing, really, right? So they've got the world's press there, and I recall seeing like the Australian one against, for example, the CEO of Qantas, right?
Sorry, I thought you were going to cite like, in Iron Man.
Focus.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So really, these guys almost get publicly lambasted.
Yeah.
Like so you
The
and
line of questioning is brutal.
is brutal. They almost don't even allow you to talk back. It's pretty. I can understand why for the rest of the other guys they had to court martial them to come in because
because you've seen it.
it's
and you're like,
it's career suicide
I'm
to a
not
degree,
gonna waste
right?
my time talking to people who don't like they're asking these questions to try to understand, but they don't even really try to understand, if that makes sense. They want to sometimes push their own agenda across, right? Where they're adamant that they are part of the cause or guilty of something, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna be very like careful here because there's like a lot of emotions when it comes to this. So when
Yeah.
what they were
a trigger warning.
what they were
Yes.
talking about was specifically the role that these CEOs and these heads of state have towards adjudicating and moderating content. What is it like? Content for
content that
for
provokes
minors
self-harm.
and kids, right?
Yeah.
So in that broad like basically topic, right? And there were actually parents of victims of
Yeah.
kids that had either committed suicide over there or had sexual predators that touched them. And this was brutal. So look, obviously the video clips that are doing the social media rounds are Mark Zuckerberg turning back and literally apologizing. Yeah, that's going. And the other one as well, which I'm neither here neither there, is the CEO of TikTok who's Singaporean. There's a little bit of like that happened again. Look, that is
Adamant
what
that he's Chinese.
that is
and
what
it's a Chinese. It's a Chinese.
he
Company,
actually
right?
wasn't. But I like looking. I mean, like the questions that were being asked. But I think my question, without getting into the specifics here, I was reading like a lot of the comments, right? So there is no doubt that these individuals. I mean, we've watched. I can't remember the documentary. My memory is terrible. Where we know what happens in these social media networks, where they deliberately create really addictive scenarios for you to come back.
Was it part of the Cambridge Analytica?
It was a social experiment or something. I think that must have been it, right? So, but we know that, and we still use it, and we know how addictive it is, right? So, for children and stuff like that are being exposed to that, there is no doubt. Like, let's put it out there that our agreement on the stance is that more needs to be done from the companies in terms of mitigating these sort of content being shown to minors, as an example, sexual predators, etc., etc. 100% more stuff needs to be done, right? The other bit that I just can't help but think, and this is not gonna be received very well, is parents also have a big responsibility to play in this, right?
They should be the frontline defense.
And I'm not saying it's easy. That is the inherent problem.
Yeah.
And when Zuckerberg, look, they're in the wrong, right? Like, I'm not going to go into like the specifics on it because the amount of evidence that these senators provided, even though it was just presented in a very adversarial way, and there was no way for them to talk, right?
You were never going to win, or
you're never going to win.
Like, be presented in a good light, right?
It's beyond past the fact that for sure more needs to be done, right? And in the background, what's happening as well are that because these companies are the biggest companies in the world, they have lawyers that are fighting against these things, right? So tick in the crossbox. But the other element is we have to protect our children from it, and we can't make these things easily accessible. If you know that it's bad or that there's elements that it's bad, and the bit that I think Mark was trying to articulate is it's not that black, like this is a terrible example, right? But we don't ban alcohol completely, and we know that it's the single biggest cause of like death for something there.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that why does alcohol get a pass and social media doesn't. I'm just trying to
your point there, right? There's an age barrier in place. Very much in all of these social media platforms, they still have to say that you have to be of a certain age to actually have an account.
But you can just lie, right? That's the thing, right?
And then ultimately, if we look at it from a macro view, what does this mean fundamentally for, I guess, society and relationships and whatnot? Technology was supposed to be seen as this way of connecting people from everywhere, connecting being a basis of connection for, specific topics and finding people that are like-minded like you, right? But in that same notion, right, it's very much, and I've seen it in some with in interactions and people that I've seen throughout my life and so on, and right, it genuinely can create a barrier to the actual real conversations and the fundamentals of a family, right? Where you're talking about the ability to, like, let's take the concept of like bullying online, right? It is rife.
But bullying online is an extrapolation of bullying in real life that happens. It's just a different medium,
it's just
right?
a different medium. But like the aspect of it's being able to understand the support that you can get, or even going past the barrier of understanding that this is not just a you problem. Like I'm talking about this to the person that's being bullied, right? It's very much the actions of that person is a reflection on that person. It is, your teachers that have a responsibility in seeing these situations. It is a responsibility of even the child in itself to be able to speak up or feel confident or feel safe to speak up to your parents and stuff. It is this whole greater cycle of parenting, which arguably it's like no one ever gets a manual for it. You get very much often the experience that you get informs how you then give.
Okay, question.
It's all of those things, right?
Question. Like if it's as simple as like parents saying like you're not allowed to get a Facebook account till you're like 20 or something like that.
Oh, that's a bit much, but
okay. Whatever, like whatever the age is, you can debate about that. Why do you think it's so hard to stop it? It's in the same way that it's so hard to stop kids from like drinking whenever they want to because they're stuck at a certain time.
Because if you can find access to it in any way means that you can, and if you've been told no, the bare basic is like, well, no, I want it, so I'm gonna go find it and get it. Right?
Do you think you could just turn off all your Facebook and that now if you wanted to? Do you think you could actually do that?
Yeah, I think I could.
Yeah, turn it off completely.
Yeah, I think I could. I could turn off Facebook. I could turn off Instagram. This is different from wanting to, right? I could probably turn off Twitter. Like I would still.
I don't think it's that easy, but yeah.
I would still be using the accessing the internet.
Yeah.
To for work, for reading the news and like YouTube. Like YouTube's not counted in the mix, right?
Well, see, that's just what briefly touches on that. Like, what's the biggest difference from like our generations to this new generation now, who are essentially being raised on the internet?
Yeah.
Because for us, like, I always think like social media really broke out just like in terms of like Facebook and all that. That happened like just before I entered high school, essentially, and then that fell in line with like, for example, iPhones and all that, like smartphones.
Yeah.
I only really got one until like towards the end of high school, essentially. Yeah. And from that perspective, like that only makes me grateful that I at least got to grow up. I didn't have to be reliant on this sort of, on this form of technology. Like I knew times before that, not to act superior, but it's just that
it's a circuit breaker, right?
Yes. Like, now that this generation is so entrenched in it,
they see it everywhere.
It's
right?
harder for them to try to break out of it because it was just immediately
thrust upon.
Yeah.
The thing is, arguably, if you created like an environment that you could shelter like children and not do it, the majority of their friends will have it, and that's what's going to make it just almost infinitely difficult.
The FOMO of it, yeah.
But yeah,
my mom doesn't love me enough because I I don't have a phone and look at my phone
as it pertains like to the predators and stuff like that. Again, no doubt these companies need to get better at that.
Yep.
But we need to get better at like making stuff like so easy. Like giving screens can't be that easy.
You mean
parents
creating like safeguards and stuff, not making it easier. But
it goes both ways because like. And again, I'm very conscious. It's just so like to tiptoe around it because like I can't imagine like being on the other side because it like, fundamentally you're not going to be with your child 24 hours a day. So you can't police stuff like that, but hopefully you're giving enough like attention and love and things that they don't need to spend. And that's the hard bit. I'm not saying that that's the reason why people do it.
The other factor that I don't think we've covered as well is like society's role in this, right? Where you've got celebrities that are perpetuating a certain look, appearance, lifestyle, habits on social media, and I see many a youth that are not even in this, like they're older than this current age bracket within like, school and that, but they're perpetuating that because they see if that person likes that celebrity, well, I want to be liked too, and I want to look hot as shit or whatever. So I'm gonna literally replicate everything, right? Like the amount of randomly.
That's a human being way though.
It is, right? But it's I know there's no solve for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very much like that's out of control, but there needs to be, I guess, you want to be able to enable a child to think, to create self-worth outside of that, if that makes sense.
Because of the way that it has been paired with social media and making it essentially in your face constantly.
All
like,
the time.
That's just completely taken
People
over.
just want to be accepted and people want to belong, right? So if you're in the masses of that, then
which we won't go into this topic, but like you just reminded me about like there was this article that came out that apparently Gen Z is aging faster than the previous generation.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
talk.
yeah.
So what do you mean by aging? Like
can-
physically
we
aging?
can talk about that in a different.
Let's save it for the next episode because it's quite a good one.
Yeah, but essentially, it's like a lot of them look older than they actually are because of factors of I would say social media in particular, the fact that they want to look older than they actually
everything
are.
is accelerated.
Yes.
Everything is accelerated.
In terms of the duress that is the world at the moment of stress and all that. So
There was sorry, I have to say it. There was this TikTok that I saw with, I think, alignment with that article where this guy said, it's like, I was going to go meet The Rock and get his autograph and whatnot. And then he signs like, hey, like to the daughter name or something like that. Cause he was getting something signed for somebody. The Rock assumed that was for his daughter and said, hey, your dad's pretty cool. And it's like,
but that TikToker, he's 26.
yeah, he's 26 years old. Like,
and people,
26 old.
and a lot of,
I'll show you. Like, he looks
a lot
pretty.
of-
You're saying he looked old.
Yeah, he looks old. Yeah.
a lot of people assumed he was like in his 30s at least. And then he said, Rihanna is older than me.
Yeah.
So,
But Rihanna looks much younger. It's crazy.
yeah.
It's
So we might touch on that next episode or another episode. We'll see.
yeah.
But otherwise, it's a lot to cover.
I guess it's good in a sense that like the social media platforms are being held accountable for this and what I guess focusing on what needs to be done and how to harness or create safeguards within technology to make it easier to, I guess, interact and with people online and stuff and safeguard from these really bad things that do tend to happen with cyber crimes and scams and whatever, what have you, and terrible crimes and that as well. But I guess it's a whole front. You can never really fully blame just one source, right? There's
It's a whole lot.
and it's not about blaming, right? But it's just about, okay, it's always challenging about how can we do better? How can we collectively do better?
How can we, in a sense, find the solution together? But otherwise, that's gonna be a front that's developing.
All right, guys, that's episode
What a mixed bag.
31.
What a mixed bag. We had balls,
Done.
we had
What, balls?
rooms, we had
Tennis balls, cars,
Facebook.
we had
and
What,
talk
Zuck?
about
yeah.
social media.
Elon.
Yeah.
Speaking of social media, follow us on the
Also,
I don't know about that now. Just look, all I want is the subscribes, all right? Follow us on YouTube. That's the only social media platform.
Subscribe, ring the
Subscribe to the
bell,
channel.
ring the bell.
Share
us
this
out.
to your friends and
Shaka.
family.
Tell us what you thought about all the tennis, the Twitter tennis
Yeah.
fans. We want to hear from you.
Talk about tennis. What do you feel about F1? Any Hamilton loyalists?
What's your take on how do you think that, tech can get better to create a better society that we live in?
Exactly.
All the things.
See you next time, guys. Peace.